I want to talk a little bit about what that data doesn't show, or at least what that data doesn't tell us. So we can learn a lot from looking at the absolute numbers. We can see the number of total cases. We see the number of people dying. We also get data like the number of people that are recovering from the disease. So the data says quite a lot. But the absolute data, so just looking at the numbers themselves, I think we kind of lose a little bit of an understanding of what's actually happening. Because my problem is that I think a lot of the people that I am seeing on Facebook, that I'm talking to on the street, friends, messaging on WhatsApp, etc., wherever you're getting your information from, I think there's a lot of complacency right now in the UK, but in other areas of the world, that, 55 people have died. Obviously, that's very, very sad, but it's a very small percentage of the overall population. This is nothing for me to worry about, 1,500, or as it is now, 2,000 cases in the UK. Again, a very small percentage of the population. Majority of people that are dying seem to be old. Me, I don't have anything to worry about, okay? That's what I'm hearing a lot. Now, I want to kind of debunk that a little bit because it's not that accurate. One of the things that we have to understand, and I think something I've been trying to explain a lot, is about testing bias, okay? A lot of the people that are being tested are the people that have the worst symptoms of the virus, okay? So we're almost just testing people that we know have the virus. We're getting a positive confirmation, and then those people are being sent off to hospital. Some of those people will go into critical care units, and a portion of those people, unfortunately, are going to die from the disease, okay? So that's kind of the correlation, right? So it's a very high correlation between the number of people getting tested and the number of people that have the virus, okay? We're almost like testing nobody that doesn't have the virus right now. There's a few reasons for that. I mean, we only have a limited number of testing kits right now. The NHS is at pretty much full capacity. It has been even before the virus. So, there's very little capacity for us to be able to test lots of people and admit them. And so what you see is a bit of a bias in the data. So if we've only got people here in the data that have severe symptoms, we're not testing people that have mild symptoms, right? And that makes sense because the general advice at the moment is if you have mild or moderate symptoms, stay at home for 14 days, self-isolate. If those symptoms go away, then you can assume that you're fine to kind of, continue, albeit in probably what will become in the next couple of weeks a complete self-isolation state for the country. But at least you'll have had the virus and your symptoms will hopefully have gone away and you'll be fine. So there's a challenge there because we're not picking up those people that have the virus or even those people that had the virus and no longer have it. So when we say we've got 2,000 cases of the virus in the UK, what we're actually saying is we've got 2,000 tested cases of people that have severe symptoms of the virus. Okay, that's very different to the actual number of cases in the UK. Now, there's a lot of different estimates that I've seen from experts, on Twitter, on the internet. Lots of people have been doing a lot of models, which is great. It's a great time right now if you're an epidemiologist or an economist, etc., to try and do some of these models. And I see a lot of people predicting that the actual true number is likely to be anywhere from 10 to 25 times in the UK. And I'm hearing that in the US, that's actually anything between 25 and 50 times the actual number of cases that's been reporting. So in the UK, if we've got 2,000 cases, we've actually probably got true number of cases anything from 20 to upward from 30, maybe even 40 or 50,000 actual cases in the UK. Okay, so that's quite a big step change in what's being reported. So I think that's the first thing I want to be kind of clear on. And in fact, when we see the number of cases, we see 2,000. Multiply it by 10, 15, 20, whatever, it doesn't matter. You start to see the picture, right? There's a lot more people in the UK that have the virus than's being reported. Just thankfully, the majority of those people have the mild symptoms. But there's an important thing to stress here. Just because somebody has mild or even no symptoms, okay, and people can still have the virus with no symptoms, just because they've got mild or no symptoms, doesn't mean that when they transmit the virus to somebody else, that person won't get the virus and have much more severe symptoms, okay? Which makes complete sense, because different people have a different ability to be able to combat the virus. So a very healthy individual could go about their day-to-day life, not even know they have the virus, encounter somebody, pass the virus to them, and that person's body has a completely different reaction to defending against the virus, and that person can have particularly severe symptoms. So that's why I'm going to urge consistently throughout this podcast but also at the end I'm going to give a bit more detail about why there's a responsibility not just on a subset of the population, but on the whole population to try and do their utmost to tackle this problem.